welcome to Her Exchange. I've got a very special guest with me today. Please welcome Dale Little, social media and marketing guru. She's here to help us grow and build our businesses. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's kick it right off. Social media is the rave. Everybody's talking about it. How, as a new business owner, should we be using social media to create a presence and a brand?
I think that every business needs to be using social media. And it definitely helps you grow your presence. And as a startup, as we were discussing earlier, you have limited funding.
Absolutely.
And what I love to say about social media is that whereas just 3 or 4 years ago, your business geographically was limited to what was right outside your front door.
Absolutely.
Now, social media opens you up to the entire
You've got the world.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yes, it's definitely very important for all businesses, established businesses, startups.
Good.
Yes.
And what social media specifically? I think of the big three. I think LinkedIn, I think Twitter, I think Facebook. Am I missing something, and do you need to be on all of them?
I think you do need to be on all of them because they are so big. And folks, they see you on Facebook, well, why aren't you on Twitter? Oh, but you're not on LinkedIn, so you must not really be professional. So you do need to be on all of them. Yeah, yeah. It's best, and you need to be consistent in what you're posting and publishing on all of them. You can't take care of one. They're kind of like babies. You can't take care of one baby and leave the other 2 babies to fend for themselves.
And Hootsuite allows you to manage all 3 of those through one program that you're logging into versus going into each individually.
Exactly. Yes.
Good.
Yes. And you can schedule. I actually do this for a lot of my clients. You can schedule 10 days ahead.
I love that.
Just devote a whole day if you want to different things that you're going to post. I don't know that it's something that I would suggest doing all the time, posting that far in advance, and certainly don't rely on that solely. Just because you've set up some things in Hootsuite for the next, we'll say 10 days, doesn't mean you should not, as something catches your eye, something's big in the media, you should also be sure to put that out there as well.
How does social media fit into a broader plan to create a presence, to drive traffic, either to a website, create referral business? How should that be niched into, again, a broader scheme?
A marketing plan is crucial, just like a business plan is crucial. I'm not an advocate of a formal 20-page document, but I do think, exactly.
Good.
But I do think you need to know what your goal is for your marketing plan. Are you building your reputation? Are you trying to overcome negative publicity? Are you trying to get your name out there? What is your goal for your marketing plan? And then we have to decide who that marketing program is going to be geared to. So where do those people go for their news and information? Do they read magazines? Do they read newspapers? Are they downloading podcasts? You have to truly know your target market. And then once you do that, then you can branch off into a separate plan for social media marketing, and you're posting information then that is information to them.
Sure.
There's been a lot of conversation about how many times you should post on Facebook every day. And a rule of thumb.
I struggled with that.
Yeah, rule of thumb has been 2 to 3 times a day. Don't do any more than that because you'll get removed from the newsfeed. But the reality is that if you're providing information that your clients, your customers can use, they want to read it. They miss you if you're not in the newsfeed. And the other piece of
there
that,
is too much to being in the newsfeed. I mean, I struggled with feeling as though I was inundating people, thinking I've just become white noise now because it's too often. So if it's helpful and valuable, there isn't a maximum number, then you can keep providing that information?
that's my opinion.
Okay.
That's my opinion. And I actually did my own little informal poll, and 77% of the respondents said, as long as you're delivering actual content that I am interested in reading, then do what you want to do. But don't send me promotion after promotion after promotion.
Right.
Don't send me 18 examples of your work in one day. And don't post them all within 2 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And then there's the technical aspect of that. If you don't post often enough, you lose your momentum with Facebook. And so you don't necessarily get into the feed pool, because Facebook does limit the number of fan pages that they post in your feed. You can adjust that option, but if you don't know to or you choose not to, then if you're not posting regularly enough, you don't even show up in your Connections newsfeed.
And you're lost.
And
you're
you're
losing
lost.
Potential customers.
That's exactly right. You're putting information out there and nobody knows it.
When you're thinking about a marketing plan and combining social media with a more traditional marketing plan, as a startup, what kind of cost should you expect or plan to incur? Is there a percentage of your budget that should be dedicated to marketing? And what does that number look like? I assume different for everyone, but is there a rule of thumb?
It is different for everyone, and because our economy is in such flux, because we have so many new business owners that don't have business experience, we've got limited budgets. Again, I think we have to go back to who is our target market? How can we best contact and connect with them? And then we have to decide what percentage of the budget should go to that. One of the sad things, though, that's happened in this economy, marketing is the first line item in budgets that's been cut. And people don't recognize that when you cut that marketing budget, when you're no longer putting yourself out there in front of people, they forget you.
Yes.
The attention span just from morning to afternoon is not that long. And so you have to be
Isn't that the case?
constantly putting yourself out there in a very consistent manner. You had mentioned branding earlier, and everything that you talk about, all of your posts, the way your print ads look, everything, it needs to always trigger the brain response, oh yes, I know who that is.
Yes.
That's her exchange.
It goes right back to it.
Yes.
How do you handle a rebrand, a change in course? If you've been going left and you think, I'm going to take this business right, how do you manage that through social media to start changing the direction and perception?
Before you ever let anybody know that you're doing that, you need to have all your ducks in a row. Whatever you're doing to rebrand, you're changing colors, you're changing your name, whatever it is, that all has to be in place.
Okay.
And then once it's in place, we're always eager, we want to share it. It's kind of like we just
scream from the rooftop.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But we have to hold on to that impatience,
Yeah.
and we then have to create some excitement.
Okay.
New things coming. Very excited about a new direction that we're going in. Start putting little teasers out. Think about movie trailers
Okay.
and the sort of stuff that you
A
see.
great way to tie that in, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And we can learn a lot by watching our competitors. We can learn a lot by watching businesses that aren't even in our field,
Yeah,
but that have the predominant share of their market.
absolutely. Besides watching you, because you manage social media beautifully, so everyone should be friending Dale on there and watching closely. Are there other companies that are using social media really well that we should keep our eye on?
Social media is so new. Now,
Yeah, it feels ingrained.
yeah, it does,
Yeah.
it does, yeah. The genius when it comes to social media is, of course, Mashable. Mashable.com. I follow all of their various Twitter accounts, and I'm a fan of all of their Facebook pages. They truly put out valuable information. It's in a concise way, and it's tailored to their target market.
Absolutely.
So if there were one, I would say Mashable.
Oh, that's great.
Connect with them everywhere that you can, because they truly are cutting edge in what they do.
Oh, good. Very good. And so now we've got the right avenue. We're setting up ourselves in Twitter and social media, and we realize that we've got to be in all three. We're trying to manage that in the course of the day and still giving ourselves a little bit of marketing time. Is there an avenue we're missing in thinking about that? I mean, is there another way to create your presence and drive business that maybe we're not thinking about between those two? Is there an open hole? Does traditional marketing and social media, does that leave everything covered? Are you not reaching your target market?
Because we've been flooded in the last 18 months, 2 years, with so many new businesses coming into all of the industries, it's crucial that you set yourself apart.
Yes.
And social media is not a be-all, end-all. Social media is about establishing connections. It's about networking, having relationships with people. And
that's interesting. That's so important to hear, because I think you almost take that personal out of it. So often when you're thinking social media, oh, it's just out there, I don't know these numbers. But to say it, the idea being to create connections is huge.
And that's how you differentiate yourself from your competitor. Your competitor may have the same target market, and truly you could be side by side in the shopping mall, but people that come past your store, your office, they know that they're going to receive X when they come to you because they have established a relationship. You've established a relationship with them. So networking events, communicating with people when they post on your Facebook page, when they send you a note on Twitter, whether it's a direct message or it's a mention. Start moving the conversation along. And don't just say thanks. And take an interest. Now, Twitter,
that's important.
That brings up an interesting thought, though. Twitter, there are a lot of people that say, well, I followed them, but they didn't follow me, so I'm going to remove them. Well, it's not a tit for tat kind of a thing. You're following people that are of interest to you.
Absolutely.
And because they're of interest to you, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily your target market, and vice versa. I follow a lot of media that I would love it if they'd follow me too, but that doesn't
maybe after today.
but that doesn't mean that I'm somebody. I mean, you know, if I was the Associated Press or something, that would be different because they need that information. So you're not catering to who you're following. You're taking care of the people that you need to follow you, and that's your target market.
What kind of growth rate should you expect in terms of the number of likes and followers that you find? I think LinkedIn is a little bit different, but in terms of Facebook and Twitter, what kind of growth could you expect if you are putting, you know, yourself out there 2 to 3 times a day, you're managing your posts, you're targeting your market? What kind of return should you expect?
It truly takes time to develop, and you really do have to bring all the pieces together and work all of the pieces continuously. And a lot of that I've learned through my own trial and error as the social media platforms have developed. What I say to clients is if you're working it consistently and working all the components at the same time, 3 to 6 months, you'll start seeing a definite return. You should start seeing an increase in traffic in the first several weeks, but as far as an actual return, you're establishing yourself as an expert. You are developing a relationship of trust with people that you're not necessarily having an actual conversation with. So it takes a little bit more time than it would if you went and sat down with somebody and had coffee, for instance.
Excellent.